So, I want to talk to you about something today that's gonna sound wrong when I say it, and I need you to stick with me for a few minutes before you decide I'm crazy. Here it is. The way to get ahead in life is by not caring. Now, I know what you're thinking because I thought the same thing for a long time. You're thinking that's a terrible idea. You're thinking that's terrible advice. Caring is good. You're supposed to care. Caring is what makes you a good person, a hard worker, a good friend. And you're not wrong about that. Not exactly. But just stay with me. Because there's a version of caring that's quietly ruining your life and nobody ever told you about it. Let me explain what I actually mean. Here's the thing I figured out, and it took me way too long to see it. You have a limited amount of caring in you. It's not unlimited. It's like a battery. You wake up in the morning with a certain amount of it, and every single thing that you care about that day pulls from that battery. And most people, myself included, for years, wake up and spend the whole thing before noon on stuff that doesn't matter at all. Think about your own day for a second. Really think about it. You wake up and you check your phone, and you see somebody living some life you don't have, and you feel a little worse. That's a withdrawal. You get to work and somebody says something a little short with you, and you spend the next 2 hours replaying it, wondering if they're mad at you. Withdrawal. You're scrolling and you see some argument online, some take you disagree with, and you feel your chest getting tight. Withdrawal. Somebody you barely talk to posts that they bought a house, got engaged, got the promotion, and you do that quiet math in your head about where you are compared to them. Big withdrawal. And by the time you get home to the stuff that actually matters, the person you love, the thing you're trying to build, your own health, your own peace, you've got nothing left. The battery's dead. You spent all your caring on strangers and noise, and now the people and things that actually deserve it get the leftovers. That's the trap, and almost nobody sees it because it doesn't feel like a problem. It just feels like being normal, caring, plugged in person. So let me ask you something. What are you actually spending your caring on? Because I did this exercise myself and it was uncomfortable. I sat down and I really looked where my energy was going, and a huge amount of it was going to one thing: what other people thought of me. That's a big one. Maybe the biggest one for most people. You're editing your whole life around an audience. What will they think if I do this? What will they say if I wear that, drive that, post that, try that, and fail? And here's the brutal part. The audience, they're not even watching. Nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they are. Everybody is just way too busy being the star of their own movie to be an extra in yours. You are performing for an empty theater. I'll say that again because it's important. You are performing for an empty theater. And it gets worse, because the people whose opinion you're the most afraid of, a lot of them wouldn't even show up if your life fell apart tomorrow. You're bleeding energy every single day worrying about people who would not bring you a glass of water if you were in the hospital. Then there's the other big one, trying to be liked by everyone. I used to think that being liked by everyone was the goal. Turns out it's a slow way to disappear. Because to be liked by everyone, you have to sand off every edge, agree with everything, never take a real position on anything. You water yourself down until there's nothing left that nobody can actually connect to. You become smooth and pleasant and completely forgettable. Here's the truth I had to learn. Some people are supposed to not like you. That's not a bug. That's the system working. The people who don't vibe with the real you are clearing out of the way so the people who do can actually find you. When you try to be for everybody, you end up being for nobody. And then there's arguing. Man, the energy people burn trying to win arguments is funny. Arguing with somebody who was never, not in a million years, going to change their mind, you can be completely right and still lose your entire afternoon to it. Nobody in the history of the world has ever been argued into becoming a different person. So why are you spending your one and only battery? Here's where it stops being a list of problems and starts being the way out. I need you to really hear this next part because this is the whole thing. Not caring is not the same as being empty. It's not apathy. Apathy is when you care about nothing. And that's just as broken as caring about everything. That's not what I'm telling you to do. What I'm telling you is that not caring is a tool. It's a selection tool. It's you standing at the door of your own life, deciding what gets in and what doesn't. Every single thing you refuse to care about is you protecting the battery for the stuff that actually deserves it. You don't get ahead by caring more. You get ahead by caring about less, but caring about it harder. Let that sit for a second. Caring about less, harder. Because here's what I've noticed about the people who actually build something real. They're not the ones who are mildly worked up about everything. They're the ones who let almost everything roll off of them. And then they take that saved up energy and they pour all of it into 2 or 3 things that actually matter. They look calm from the outside. People even think they don't care, but it's the opposite. They care so much about the few right things that they can't afford to waste anything on the wrong ones. Now, somebody's gonna push back on me here, and it's a fair pushback, so let me address it head on. You might be thinking, isn't that just a fancy way of telling me to be a selfish, checked out, cold person? Doesn't caring about things make you a good human being? And my answer is, caring about everything doesn't make you a good person. It usually just makes you an anxious one. Half of what people call caring isn't even caring. It's just fear. It's fear of being judged, fear of missing out, fear of somebody being upset with them, dressed up in a nicer outfit and called caring. The person who's mildly upset about every single thing in the world does almost no actual good with it. But the person who picks a few things and cares about them all the way down, that person changes lives, their own and the people around them. So here's the line I want you to remember. Caring about everything is the exact same as caring about nothing. You just look more tired doing it. There's an old line from Marcus Aurelius. Guy wrote it almost 2,000 years ago in his private journal. Crazy. He said, you have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That's the whole thing right there. Stop spending yourself on what was never yours to control. Aim your energy at the one thing you actually own, which is you. So then the obvious question is, okay, if I'm gonna stop caring about all the other stuff, what do I actually care about instead? I'm gonna walk you through where that saved up energy should go. The work. Whatever it is you're actually trying to build, your thing, it deserves the caring you've been handing out to strangers on the internet for free. A few people, not the crowd, not the followers, not the acquaintances, not the group chat, the handful. The 3 or 4 people who would actually show up at 3 in the morning if you called. Everyone else in your life gets your kindness, gets your politeness, that's fine. But your real energy, the good stuff, that's reserved for a few. Stop giving strangers the version of you that your closest people deserve. Your word to yourself. This one's quiet, but it might be the most important. The promises you make to yourself and then break, nobody sees those. But you pay for every single one. Every time you say you're going to do something and you don't, you trust yourself a little less. Start caring about that more than you care about any opinion from anybody. And your health and your time, the 2 things you genuinely cannot buy back. Nobody ever charged you $1 for them, so nobody ever taught you to protect them. And that's exactly why people throw them away. Now here's the part that I think is the actual payoff. Because I don't want you to walk away thinking this is about becoming cold or distant. It's the opposite. Not caring about the right things gives you the stuff you can't get any other way. It gives you your freedom. It gives you freedom, real freedom. The second you stop needing a room to approve you, you can walk into any room in the world. You can't be controlled by somebody whose approval you don't need. Think about how much of your life is quietly steered by wanting people to be okay with your choices. It gives you focus. All that energy you were spending on the noise, it's just available now for the thing that matters. And that's where it starts to compound. Because caring aimed at one thing over years, that's how anything real gets built. It gives you honesty. You can finally just say what you actually think. You stop editing every sentence for people who weren't gonna like you anyways. And it gives you speed. This is a big one. People who need permission move slow. People who don't need it move fast. Half of getting ahead in life is just being willing to go before everybody's ready to approve of you. So let me bring this all the way home. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I've got this perfectly figured out. I still catch myself caring about the wrong stuff. I still spend energy sometimes on what people think, on stuff I can't control, on arguments that don't matter. I'm human. This is a practice, not a switch you flip once. But here's what I know for sure. You only get so much caring in life. Nobody ever tells you that. They tell you to care more, do more, be involved in everything, have an opinion on all of it. And so most people spend the whole battery on the crowd, on the noise, on the strangers, and they have nothing left for the handful of things that were actually theirs to protect. So don't do that. Spend it on purpose. Care about less. Care about it all the way. Let the rest go. That's not you becoming cold. That's you finally putting your energy where your life actually is. And I promise you, the day you learn to stop caring about the stuff that was never yours to carry is the day everything you were actually meant to build finally gets the version of you it deserves. That's it. That's the whole thing. Go try it. Peace.